Yes. Okay, let's do this.
Well, I am so happy we are finally doing this. Welcome to Cooking with Carey P. Welcome back to my kitchen. I have one of my besties here, Erica.
Yay, I'm so glad to be here today.
Yes, me too. Erica is literally the queen of business consulting and coaching. If you need help with anything in your business, she is your gal. She's helped me so much with hallway stories and the plant-powered hallway. Yes, especially when it comes to all technology except going live, because we both forgot that there was one button to hit. So we're here today to talk about Thanksgiving dishes that are going to take away the mess and the stress out of the holidays. But they're all going to be plant-powered dishes, but the whole goal is easy.
Yes.
And that any meat eater would love them, that you're not feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm just eating some steamed broccoli or salad.
Yeah, and my husband, who is a flexitarian, swears by this dish, so we're in for a treat.
Perfect. If it's Ed Castner approved, then we are in. So without further ado, let us know in the comments. We are hoping that we are having great audio and visuals today. I know it's been a little wonky these past few days, but without further ado, I am so excited to try this like warm holiday kale. We're kind of calling it a salad or a stew. We're going to come up with the name by the end of it.
Yeah, I kind of just call it that awesome bean stuff and that doesn't really fly. So I think for the time frame today, we're going to call it Hearty Winter Italian Stew.
Perfect.
Sounds festive, right? So
let's start us off. How do we start off this delicious dish?
So I always start this dish with one of my favorite sausages. This is a plant-based sausage. It's Italian, and I cube it ahead of time. I went ahead and did this. Here's an important note. When you're doing this dish, you want to be sure that you do all of the ingredients, you prep all the ingredients before you get started, because this bad boy will heat up fast.
Yeah.
So all I did was, prior to coming on here today, Carey, we just cut that up. So I'm going to brown it. Now here's the deal. I'm not doing this with any oils. So if you want, you might want to just use a few tablespoons of water just to kind of get the party started.
Great. You know, when I first started my plant-based journey, I didn't cut out any of the oils because I was like, what? How can you cook without oils? But I am telling you, a little splash of water, you don't lose the flavor. Like I always thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be so boring. You don't. And you save so many calories.
Yes.
And if you ever have looked like what 1 tablespoon of oil is, and then like try to go burn off those calories going for a walk, it's a lot.
It's like 140 calories or something, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't exactly know.
So I use it sparingly, but I want to zoom in on really quick while Erica's browning. I want to show you, this is the brand. You can tell we cut it up. So this is Field Roast. They actually just got new packaging, Eric and I were talking about. It's a plant-based sausage. This one is a fennel and garlic. It smells delicious, but I know they have another Italian, and I think they have like an apple sage.
And they have a Mexican chipotle one, which, again, my flexitarian husband, Ed Castner, totally does an amazing ragu with that one. So,
and I will tell you, the chipotle one that they have is blazing hot.
It's very hot.
It's so hot, but it's good. If you like it spicy, try it out. So we've been able to find this sausage. I know I have found it at Walmart and at Whole Foods, but you said you found it at Publix too?
Publix is usually where I get it. Yeah, so I mean, any major grocery store will have it for sure.
And where you find this is in that really tiny section in the grocery store, in the produce section, like the vegan section, where you'll normally find sauerkraut, like wonton wrappers, pickles, and then you'll have like the plant-based sausages. So I've never found these by the meat. No. But I totally agree with you. I enjoy them. So while that's still browning, right? Do we have a few minutes? Or?
Well, we can. Yep, we can.
No, if you want to get that out, because I was just going to talk to him about the bread.
Oh, okay. Why don't you do that right now? Because I'll give this a few more moments.
Perfect. So what you're going to want to do, Erica just got an awesome, just hearty loaf. You can do a whole wheat loaf. You can do, I saw a delicious gluten-free one the other day. And all you'll do is just cut it in about 3/4 of an inch slices here. And then if you have an air fryer or a toaster oven, or even just your regular oven, cube them up. If you don't have those, or you don't want to turn on the oven, just throw them in your toaster, but as a whole piece of toast, right? And then just line them on, we're just going to line them on your sheet tray, but if you do this at home and you're doing the toasted version, toast up the bread and then just cut them into cubes. And I believe you said this was about like 3 cups
That's a hefty 3 cups.
Okay.
We like a lot of bread in our house, so.
So you can vary this, but this is the holiday, so this is kind of almost like a kale stuffing. So what I'm going to do while Erica, it looks like she's actually starting to get out the browned Italian sausages, I'm going to get these in my air fryer / oven. If you guys saw my video, my real ovens are on the fritz. So thank goodness I have this air fryer that does everything. Air fries, convection ovens, and it even toasts.
And I will have to say that if you were in a pinch, that an air fryer, even if you put it on the air fryer setting, because I'm easy peasy lemon squeezy on the air fryer, I literally just put it on air fryer setting. I think like 375, hit it on there for like 5 minutes and toast up the bread. So you don't have to get fancy dancy with it. I know Carey's got a lot of settings on hers, but don't feel intimidated by toasting it. It'll go really fast. Okay.
It does. So what's next?
So next what we're going to do is I am going to put a little water in here because this is actually really, it's a hot pan. And I'm going to put the garlic in. So what I did was I just minced about 2 cloves of garlic prior to today.
And she just used some fresh garlic. And then what else are you going to add in there?
And then I'm also going to add about, it depends on what your spice level is. I like things spicy, so I'll have a tendency to put, this is what, a 1/4 teaspoon?
Yep.
Okay, so I'll put about a 1/4 teaspoon of the red chili flakes in here to kind of saute this together with the water so it doesn't brown or doesn't like burn.
It already, it already smells. And just for you guys, to our friends at home, garlic is one of those ingredients. Don't be afraid of getting one of these bulbs. They add delicious all-day flavor, no calories, right? Ooh,
I know, that's spicy.
Got it.
It's gonna be a little spicy.
Break off a bulb. And what would you say you use there, Erica? Like 2?
I do 2 garlic cloves.
Perfect. Yep. And these recipes are going to be posted in the Plant Powered Hallway. So make sure if you're not already a part of the group, which is right on Facebook, that's where I'm posting all of these recipes. Or you can also go to CareyRalston.com. But all you'll do is you simply just when you hit the garlic and get the skin off. Sorry, it's a little.
And I actually just put a lot of chili flake in here too, so I'm a little verklempt. Are you a little verklempt over this?
Oh man, woo!
It goes fast. So it goes fast and it's real hot, so these flavors are intense. Okay, so while Carey's doing that, what I am going to do to kind of cut back on some of this intensity right now is I'm actually going to use a whole can of cannellini beans with the liquid in it. So this is going to sizzle. I just go ahead and dump all of this in here. Oh, geez. I need a smaller spoon. All right, let's do that.
Just like the Food Network.
I'm not a professional cook, y'all, like at all.
No, that's what I love. And the key thing is when you buy a bean, like a cannellini bean, and if you can try to buy it organic, low sodium, then you can use the liquid. There's no additional icky ingredients in there. And then it acts as an oil with no calories. So.
And here's the thing real quick, Carey, because this one here actually is less liquidy than the one I usually use. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water just to kind of give it a little more of a, not soup, but like just give it a little more liquid like to it. For sure.
Well, and that's a good tip because I've actually noticed, because I buy a lot of canned beans, they're always in my pantry, that some really do have less liquids than others. Tongue-tied there. So even when I make my famous ooey gooey brownies, like I've had to add a little bit of liquid just because some beans, they just have less. And while I can hear our toast done, so I'm going to check that really quick and see how we're doing.
Yeah. So as she's checking that, what I'm going to do next is, now that this is in a place, and what I did for y'all was because of the beans, and again, you're going to have to kind of measure this based on, but it should resemble like a thicker, denser soup is what it should represent, okay, in terms of the liquid. So then what I do is let that kind of simmer for about 3 to 4 or 5 minutes. Just gauge it. You're going to have to stir it around so it doesn't get, doesn't burn. Then what I do is I add back in the browned sausage so I can start letting that go to town.
And you said earlier that we're making this for either a really big portion for one, one or two.
Yeah. I actually like it. Yeah, I actually like it for Ed and I. It's just the 2 of us at home. So what we do is this is a recipe that feeds the 2 of us.
Perfect.
And but if you wanted to use it as a side, which I don't even know why you'd mess around with using it as a side, but if you wanted to make it a side
for the holidays,
Exactly.
Yeah. Just double it. Double the recipe. But what I always love when I'm making a new recipe is make it in its single portion first, and then you can easily double, triple it depending on how many people you're serving, because you can see how fast this comes together, especially when you do a little bit of the prep first.
Exactly. So now what we've got going on here is, now that we have these ingredients assembling and getting all festive, we're actually going to start adding kale. Now I've already went ahead and pre-prepped the kale. Again, another PSA is make sure all of this is pre-done in terms of your prep. So I know Carey was going to talk about prepping kale while she's over here messing with something else.
Sorry, hold on just 1 second.
All good.
Our camera, for some reason, seemed to just turn off. I don't know why, so it's okay. The other camera is on.
All right, so I'm just going to keep stirring.
Yeah, you stir. Sorry, a little technical snafu here. Let me just get so many cords.
Yes.
If it's not volume,
it's something else. The beauty of live television.
There, you know what? There we go.
Okay.
Earlier, you are back. Let me just flip the camera angle.
Back. Whoops. Okay, good deal.
Hold on 1 second. There we go.
All right, fantastic. Okay, so
look at that. I mean, we didn't even break a sweat. Sorry about that little snafu for a second. They got to stare at the board.
That's okay. It's all good.
Sorry about that. The camera actually died.
So, okay, so Carey, what do you want to talk about? How do you want to talk about the kale?
Yeah, so real quick, I'm going to flip over before, actually here, you add it in and then I'll talk about.
Okay, so like I said, this is already de-stemmed. This is probably about 2.5 to 3 cups of kale. Kale will wilt down, so don't feel overwhelmed with it. It's actually, what I like to do with this recipe is I like to just cook it enough to where it still retains the texture.
Yeah.
But then you can still see that vibrant green within the beans.
And if you've tried kale and you're like, listen, Carey and Erica, I do not like kale, it's probably because you haven't had it correctly. And the thing with kale, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to flip the camera, is it is definitely, it's fibrous. So, but it's so good for you. But this is why it can actually stand up to cooking. So what you're going to know, if you ever ate a kale salad raw, the key thing is massaging it, okay? So you would take your dressing and really massage it, or just take a little water. It's going to break down the fibers. But what Erica has done is, this is a great shortcut. She's already bought a pre-washed organic chopped blend. Make sure I can get that in the angle for you guys. And then she just went in and took out, some of them had some fibrous stems, which I can see a few here.
Yep.
And she just simply just peeled those right off. And you can save these. My dogs love to snack on them. You can save them, throw them in stock pots, or you can just discard them. But the key to kale is softening the fibers up. So if you haven't liked it in the past, promise I'll try this. And that is looking fabulous.
Yes.
My goodness.
So let's do this real quick, because we do want to put a little bit of, we want to get the bread out.
Yep.
So as I've been prepping all of this, Carey's had the bread cubes in the air fryer to toast up really famously. And then Carey, could I have you cut so we're going to use a half a lemon.
Yeah, I'll set this in the back. Actually, let me show them real quick just what.
Yeah.
Cubed bread at home. Look at perfect. I mean, this would be a great way even for stuffing, just to keep your bread like this. But I'm just going to set this in the back until we need it, because it is hot, hot, hot.
And as you can tell, this heats up so quickly together. This is essentially done. All Carey's going to do now is literally just take a half of a juice from a half of a lemon, put it in to give it a little bit of that brightness, because this is such a hearty dish. So that lemon just gives it a nice vibrance.
And do you think we need any salt and pepper?
We do. Yep. So I kind of give that make sure that's done. And then I just gauge it. So I don't like this super salty, but my husband actually likes salt.
So do I.
Yeah, so I'm actually just going to add about 1/4 of a tablespoon, and then teaspoon.
That would be a lot of salt.
I'm not a professional cook, y'all. And then probably about another 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. Yeah.
Awesome.
Because this has, again, the sausage has a lot of flavoring in it. I mean, the one that we got has fennel in it. It has some other spices in it, so you really don't need. Yeah.
And one of the things too, I don't know if you know this, whenever you use lemon or any kind of acid, so something I always keep in my house, I try to have lemons, but sometimes, they go bad before I use them. Or they're just, I don't like to buy them when they're not on sale.
Same.
That's my frugalness. But I always have apple cider vinegar, which would work in here.
Yeah, I guess
because
that would work.
any kind of vinegar or acid, like a lemon, is going to make your food taste richer and saltier. So if you wanted to cut back a little bit on your salt, but that looks so hearty. I say, do we need to do the bread?
So we need to plate this. No, let's
plate
it up first. So here's the deal with the bread. You don't want to add this to the pot because, especially if you're going to, maybe you're not a big bread fan. I mean, I don't know why. No, I'm kidding. I know why. Most of us aren't necessarily bread fans. But
I think all of us are bread fans. It's just some people
are just resistant to it. But I am also a triathlete, so I burn my carbs off in those activities that I do for that. But I just plate this up.
Not just a triathlete, like an Ironman. She's an Ironman in training and does literally things that...
training. I'm going to give you a little scoop.
Perfect.
Okay. So once we have this plated up, then what we do is we just figure out how much bread we want to add. So we just kind of top it off.
All of it.
So Carey, so if you want to go ahead and top off these dishes with some bread.
And do you kind of crunkle it or?
No, just throw it on. Throw it on. Yep. And I actually, like I said, the more the merrier for me, but.
So to me, here you go. So to me too, like when you think of like a panzanella salad, which is tomatoes and toasted up bread, i.e. croutons, this could even if you did let it sit, you're kind of going to have like a panzanella salad. But let's flip over here so you can see this beautiful, hearty, think about this at the holidays when you have a big dish of this, top it with those amazing little croutons. And I mean, I think yum. This looks so good. So here's a fork.
Okay, rock on.
Let's try this.
All right.
Now I will warn you,
Cheers.
friend, because I've done this enough. Take a small bite because it's not easy to chew. On camera.
It doesn't really look too ladylike either, but.
Oh my gosh, that's good.
So I
That's
said,
really good.
There's not a lot. You don't really have to add a lot of seasoning to this after the fact because the Italian sausage, the plant-based sausage, really does a great job of just adding enough flavor.
And that is the perfect amount of chili flakes. That is if you like a little bite, like some bitiness, yum. If you're afraid of heat, start with a pinch and then just build back up. This is so good. So, oh my gosh. So if anybody, all my friends out there that are having business issues this year because it is 2020, where can they find you at?
So the easiest place to connect with me is over at ericacastner.com, and that's as simple as that. So my first and last name, ericacastner.com.
And of course, you can always ask me. I'd be happy to connect you guys. I cannot tell you all the things that Erica has done to help me get this amazing message out to you guys. But without further ado, this is delicious, and we need to go sit outside and eat this.
Yes, because it's November in Florida, and we can do that. So.
Yeah, it's beautiful out. If you have any questions, make sure just leave them in the comments. Once again, I'm coming to you every day until Thanksgiving. I forgot to mention one of the most important details. Anybody who shares this video, you automatically go into a drawing I have, and I am giving away some fabulous prizes. Everything from plant-powered hallway memberships to shopping bags to cookbooks, all the goods. So make sure to share this video. This dish is delicious and I think would make the perfect side on anybody's Thanksgiving. Thank you so much, friend, for being here.
Yes, love you, sister. This has been fun. So thanks, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this delicious recipe.